Ever heard of a murder where the killer just vanished into thin air? Let's talk about room 1046. In 1935, a man named Roland T. Owen checked into the President Hotel in Kansas City. He seemed anxious, always keeping his room dark and only letting in specific staff. It was a cold January morning in Kansas City, Missouri. The lobby of the President Hotel was buzzing with life. Businessmen, travelers, families all hurrying through. Then the front doors opened, and a strange man walked in. He looked young, maybe in his mid-20s. He was tall, slim, with neat hair. But what caught everyone's attention was what he didn't have. No luggage, no bags, nothing but a single, tiny comb and a toothbrush. He approached the front desk and asked for an interior room on the 10th floor specifically, room 1046. His voice was flat, emotionless. When he signed the guest register, he wrote down the name, Roland T. Owen. Later, the hotel staff would admit that there was something off about him. It was like he was nervous, constantly watching the door, checking to see if someone had followed him. He followed the bellboy to the elevator, but he walked strangely slow, as if each step carried a burden that only he knew. When the bellboy unlocked room 1046, the strange behavior continued. Owen immediately walked over and closed every curtain, plunging the room into near darkness. He turned off all the lights, except for one dim lamp on the desk. The bellboy glanced around the room and noticed there were no suitcases, no clothes, nothing that belonged to him. All he saw was Owen's deep, blank stare, which never left the floor. As soon as the bellboy left, Owen locked the door from the outside in. Unusual habit. It was almost as if he didn't want anyone to think he was alone inside. And from that moment, room 1046 became the center of a mystery that is still unsolved today. The next morning, January 3rd, the hotel maid, Mary Soptic, came by for her daily cleaning route. She knocked on the door of 1046. A low, slow voice replied, "Come in." When she entered, she froze. The room was just as the bellboy had left it, dark, with the curtains sealed tight. Owen was sitting perfectly still on the edge of the bed, just staring into space. "Should I switch on the lights?" she asked him. "No," he whispered. "Don't." While she was cleaning, the phone kept ringing. Owen picked it up and said, "No, I don't want to eat." "No, don't. Stop bothering me." Mary noticed something chilling. The room was completely devoid of any personal items. No clothes, no belongings, just the phone, the dim lamp, and Owen, sitting motionless. When she returned later with fresh towels, she knocked again. This time, when Owen answered, he said something that stayed with her forever. "I'm not alone." But she never heard a second voice. Who was inside that room with him? Other hotel guests later reported hearing strange noises coming from room 1046. Loud thuds, a man's angry shouting, the sound of something heavy falling, a deep voice echoing in the hallway. But no one complained. In the 1930s, people rarely interfered in what happened in other people's hotel rooms. On the night of January 3rd, things escalated. The hotel operator noticed that the phone in room 1046 had been off the hook for hours, blocking all incoming and outgoing calls. She sent a bellboy to check on him. When the bellboy reached the room, he found the door was locked from the outside. This meant that Owen did not lock it himself. He knocked. A weak voice answered from inside, "Come in." But the door was locked. How could Owen expect someone to enter a room that was locked from the hallway? The bellboy informed him through the door, "Your phone is off the hook." He heard shuffling. Then Owen eventually stumbled to the phone and put it back on its cradle. He sounded exhausted, weak, almost as if he had already been beaten. The bellboy left, feeling confused and very uneasy. Early the next morning, around 7:30 a.m., the operator again reported that the phone in room 1046 wasn't working. This time, a different bellboy was sent up. He found a Do Not Disturb sign hanging on the doorknob. He knocked loudly. There was no answer. He knocked again. Still silence. Finally, he used the master key to open the door. The room was pitch black. He slowly walked over and pulled back the curtains, letting the morning light flood in, and then he saw it. Blood. everywhere. Blood on the bed. Blood splattered on the walls, and even on the ceiling. There were bloody fingerprints on the telephone. A dark pool of blood had soaked into the carpet, and in the bathroom, he found Owen. He was on his knees, his arms shaking as he held onto the side of the bathtub. It was clear he had been tortured for hours. The bellboy stumbled backward in shock. Owen looked at him with lifeless eyes and whispered, "I fell against the bathtub." The lie was obvious. His wounds were deep, deliberate, and intentional. He wasn't just attacked, he was systematically tortured. When doctors examined him, they found a horrific list of injuries. Deep knife wounds in his chest, multiple skull fractures, rope marks on his wrists and ankles, indicating he had been tied up, severe bruises from a prolonged beating, and a single stab wound that had nearly punctured his heart. The police asked him, "Who did this to you?" He only whispered, "Nobody." They asked again, "Were you alone in the room?" His final, meaningful words were, "There were 2, maybe 3. Shortly after, he slipped into a coma and died. No name, no belongings, no real identity. End of story. Not even close. The autopsy revealed something that no one expected. The name Roland T. Owen was fake. Police searched missing person reports from all across the country. There was no match. No family came forward. His fingerprints weren't found in any database. The man was a ghost. The authorities prepared to bury him in an unmarked grave as an unidentified person. But then, something strange happened. A beautiful bouquet of flowers arrived at the funeral home. Attached was a handwritten note with just 3 words. "Love forever, Louise." Luis the florist told police that a strange man had ordered the flowers over the phone. When asked for a message, the man said he had troubles with a woman he loved. He paid for it. Now he will be buried. Then the caller hung up. Police were never able to trace the call. No one knew who Louise was, or the anonymous man who sent the flowers. For nearly a year, the case went cold. Then, in 1936, a woman in Alabama saw a newspaper article with the dead man's photograph. She immediately called the police. "That's my son," she said. "His name is Artemis Ogletree. He had left home in 1934 to travel the country. After he disappeared, she had received several letters, all typed, saying he was fine and traveling. Typed letters. This was strange, because Artemis didn't own a typewriter. Then, she got a chilling phone call from a mysterious man. "Your son is fine," the man said in a low, calm voice. "He cannot write because he lost his thumb in a fight." The man was calling from a payphone. He was never traced. Artemis was last seen traveling with a wealthy man, but nobody knew who this person was. All the clues pointed to the same horrifying reality. Someone else was pretending to be Artemis after his death, sending fake letters to his mother to cover their tracks. So, what really happened in room 1046? The injuries looked like prolonged torture, an interrogation, or a punishment. Kansas City in the 1930s was run by violent gangsters and powerful political mobs. Many believe Artemis was involved, maybe unknowingly, and was tortured for information he had. Perhaps Doan, the name he mentioned on the phone, was a gang leader. Or what about the funeral caller S-words? He did wrong to a woman he loved. Was this a crime of passion? A brutal love triangle? Maybe a jealous boyfriend named Doan tortured Artemis over a woman. Today, room 1046 no longer exists. The President Hotel has been completely remodeled. But old staff members and paranormal investigators say the 10th floor still feels wrong. Guests have reported strange occurrences, phone lines ringing in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., with no one on the other end. Faint male whispers heard in empty rooms. Shadows moving in the corner of your eye near the old 1046 location. And sudden, unexplainable cold spots that chill you to the bone. Some say the tortured soul of Artemis Ogletree never left the hotel. After all, a man whose real identity was stolen, whose death was covered up by his killers, and who never got justice, might still be seeking answers. Or maybe he's seeking revenge. Some mysteries fade away with time. But the murder in room 1046, That remains a question the darkness refused to answer. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as chilling as I did, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more mysteries.